All right, it's 8 a.m. I'd like to call the Brimfield Township regular meeting of August 27, 2020 to order. John, roll call, please.
All those present, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes?
Sue?
Yes.
And happy birthday, Sue.
Thank you.
Yesterday was her birthday.
Yes.
We have a full board today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And today, just for those that may be watching in, you may see less pictures on the screen. That's because we do have administrative staff in the room with us, socially distanced at the 6 feet spacing, because we will be having an executive session, I believe, this after the meeting, at the end of the meeting. With that, let's go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a moment of silence for silent meditation and reflection prior to the start of the meeting. Okay. We will start with announcements and correspondences. Sue, do you have any announcements or correspondences this morning?
No.
Okay. Mike, announcements, correspondences?
I did, but I can't remember what it was. All's good.
All's good. Okay.
It'll come back to me.
None on my end either. So we'll move on to the next section. We do not have any scheduled meeting guests this morning. Meeting minutes.
We have the minutes from, it was last meeting, so it was the 12th.
August 12th.
Yeah.
All right. I need a motion for somebody that's reviewed the meeting minutes from August 12th.
I will make that motion.
Second.
All right. Any comments? Hearing them, roll call vote.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. I need a motion to accept the agenda
So moved.
and a second.
I second it.
And then additions. Do we have any comments, additions, subtractions, or changes from anybody?
I have additions.
Okay, go ahead.
Under the fiscal office, I need to put the Craig, what is the address next door?
Oh, just come back to them. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. We're putting the bond counsel's contract stuff out in regards to buying the property, Wanda's property next door.
Okay.
So we need to put that on the minutes. I was just trying to figure out what the address was so I can make it official out there. So that'll be number 1 under fiscal office.
Okay. Well, Craig's looking that up. We also have an executive session. And what are we naming this executive session under to discuss?
Personnel, wouldn't it be?
Personnel?
Personnel.
Is there any other changes or amendments to the agenda at this time?
No, but I'm gonna step out because I gotta grab that paperwork for the executive.
Okay, that's fine.
Bring that down.
Can we get that address for Wanda?
I'll grab that at the same time.
All
We
right.
can simply leave it as property next to the movement and fill the address in.
That's fine. All right, so we have a motion on the floor with an amendment to accept the agenda with the following changes. Fiscal office, number 1, property on State Route 43 purchase, and number 2, executives, or number 1 under executive session for personnel discussion. Any other changes?
John, do we need, list who's gonna be in the executive session?
We do
Minutes?
on the paper.
Okay.
Yeah, and that paper is included in our minutes.
Yeah, and then we'll read that when we actually, before we go into executive session.
Okay.
All right. Any other changes? If not, roll call.
All those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Next is going to be purchase orders. Need a motion to accept purchase orders?
So moved.
All right, I will second.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
need a motion for the warrants?
I will make that motion. I reviewed them and signed them.
Okay, I will second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Any public comments? Sue, anything that you need to read in from the public?
No.
Okay. Mike, any public comments? All right, I did not have any for this meeting either, so we'll move on to the next section. Any safety concerns, department heads that we need to be aware of? Nope, seeing
Not
much
enough rain.
It's coming.
Falls around the corner. We'll have them soon. All right, hearing no safety concerns today, we'll move into the business portion of our meeting, starting with police department. Floyd, the
Yep,
floor
thank-
is yours,
Yeah,
sir.
thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. I just have a few items, information or discussion this morning with the board. One item I wanted to follow up on, I know we've discussed this previously on the CARES Act funds. I just wanted to do a follow-up on that piece, specifically on the PPE aspect of items we wanted to make a purchase from American Medical, and I've gotten a follow-up call from her. I wanted to see if it's possible if we could expedite us making our purchase, at least from the American Medical, for the PPE part of that. My main reason for that is I just want to be cognizant of supply and demand, what's been purchased and what might be available or get delayed.
You sent me that email the other day, and I apologize, I didn't get back to you. We can purchase it out of your funds, and then the CARES Act's gonna refund it, and then we're gonna put it back in.
Fair enough.
So you got plenty of money out there,
Yep.
so you can purchase it whenever you need to do
That
it.
answers that question.
Okay.
I'll just treat it that way.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, John. I appreciate it.
What stuff are you stockpiling? Just those.
Yeah, various items, sanitizer, N95, surgical masks, disinfectant. We got good bulk of supplies. So, yeah. Follow-up item with you on the board. I know I've discussed our new cruiser from March that fell into a bit of a black hole with COVID. Did get some confirmation. The cruiser is actually going to be built in October. So with that, getting the new graphics supplied and equipment installation, that should be on the road for patrol use in November. So we've got a more definite timeline on getting that car
Well, at least we're getting it before the end of the year.
on the
at this
road.
point.
It's a 2021. They just converted it. Ford just kicked it up to a 2021 model based on the delay. It
Okay.
was originally ordered as a 20, but it's going to be a 21. No additional cost to us, but that's, Ford said it's a 21.
Is there gonna be any issues with outfitting it? Any changes?
Don't think so. We've touched base with Hall Public Safety on that. I don't think we're going to see any issues there on
Okay.
that.
Sometimes when they
Take
change
the
models,
first
things
one
may
off,
change.
Because we don't know if
Correct.
we're in that.
Okay.
We'd have the seventh one.
So just an update on that item. You'll note with my report, I attached some information for you. I know the board had asked me to provide you with some information relative to solicitors / transient vendors. And in the information I attached for you, I supplied you with a copy of some various documents, the current resolution from the township, which looks like it's dated back from 2005. There's a copy of the current transit vendor application form that's utilized. There's also a copy of the transient vendor certificate that is issued. I also referenced a couple of ORC sections relative to townships and solicitors / transient vendors. And basically what I did is I walked through for you what the current protocol is for when someone's requesting one of these from the township, and those are the steps we follow 1 through 5 under current protocol. I talked to our administrative assistant the other day, and we have received 2 formal applications this year for people to obtain solicitor / transient vendor permits.
Is this all relative to the guy with the rugs that was out there?
You know, not necessarily. I
No, but
wanted to
mean,
provide,
Has anyone said anything about him?
I'm
Were
not,
you notified?
not to my knowledge. No, I'm really, this is kind of more, when I say solicitors, people basically door to door. Was he setting up kind of a
Yeah,
temporary
well,
work spot?
He had a whole thing up there at Rico's, and I didn't
Okay.
know.
Mike shut that down.
Yeah, Mike Ladd took care of that. This is more, because I've gotten a couple of complaints. We're getting pest control guys going door to door knocking. There was another salesman, and the concern from the citizens was they were showing up at like 9 p.m. at night knocking on
Yeah,
doors.
they came to
That's-
Grace.
Yeah, I mean, I
Agreed. Yeah, those
5
gentlemen
p.m.
actually,
isn't bad, but 9 p.m. is an issue.
those gentlemen actually do have a permit. They
Okay.
came through my neighborhood on
Okay.
Sunday. And they
Guys
were
on
there.
the skateboard thing?
Yeah, the hoverboard.
Hoverboard.
Yeah. And he had his permit, and when he came to my door, the first question I asked him is, I need to see your solicitor's permit, and he had it with him. So yeah, they do have a valid permit, but I wanted to just kind of provide you with a kind of a 1,000-yard overview of what we're currently doing as far as protocols go. I also attached a copy of Westchester Township's resolution on this, just as a frame of reference. Not to say anything is necessarily right or wrong per se with the current protocols we're following, but it's just a frame of reference. I know one of the items that Brimfield requires is they have to have $100,000 of liability insurance. I noted with looking at a couple other ones, they don't necessarily require that, but so this is just again an overview. One of the questions I would have is when you look at section 50599 under the township section of the ORC, that reflects we're violating the township ordinance under 50594 is a minor misdemeanor. And doing some checking on that, our department's never charged under that section and sent it into the Portage County Municipal Court. So just one question I would have as we looked at this is maybe clarifying with our legal counsel, would our county prosecutor or would our county court system accept a charge under that section coming in? That'd just be an item I would want to get some clarification on if we ever had to potentially issue some type of a charge on our end, just because I don't think it's ever been issued before.
Okay.
Do they become like our handicap parking tickets? Is it the same kind of?
Well, it's just a question I would want to clarify because that's the township section of the ORC under the 500s. And if we're sending it into the Portage County Municipal Court System, I am curious how they would treat that. I would want to get some clarification on that piece. Okay.
But under a minor misdemeanor, it would basically just be a written citation.
It would be,
And have a
yeah.
nice day.
But could potentially turn into something if the person failed to take care of it. That's the follow-up question I would have. Are they gonna, is a warrant going to be issued for this township section and who's going to be, there's some logistical questions on how that would be handled through the court that I would want some clarification on from probably Chad Murdoch.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we could get some clarification, I would hope we didn't have to get to that point. I would hope that we're just having a conversation saying, listen, this is our rules. There's an ORC section that supports us.
Yeah.
Follow the rules or move on. And hopefully that settles it.
Agreed. So I can take care of that follow-up piece, but I just wanted to, again, provide you with kind of an overview piece. You had asked me to provide you with a little bit of information. I just wanted to put something in your hands to take a look at this morning for discussion. Okay.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, no, I think, let me read through this, but yeah, let's get some legal feedback. If you want to head that up and get some feedback from Chad of how that might look if it went that way.
Yeah.
But at least this gives us some talking points to residents to say, hey, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you just need to call the non-emergency number and pass that on once we have a solid solution of what we can do.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. No problem.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. The last item I had for you this morning was just a discussion piece. I wanted to provide you with some information as the police department is exploring obtaining a UAV unit. And I attached a memo with my report for you to take a look at. So in a nutshell, there are 3 other departments in the county that are currently utilizing a UAV unit. That's Ravenna Police Department, Aurora Police Department, and the Streetsboro Police Department. I know we had talked about this in a general way, probably a year and a half to 2 years ago. And in our situation, we've had a change in some funding situations that may make this more feasible for us to begin exploring. We had a piece of equipment we weren't utilizing at our police department that the Garrettsville Police Department acquired on obtaining from us. And we were able to arrange a sale of that piece of equipment to them, which was a firearm simulator that we just weren't putting to use, and it wasn't kind of meeting our needs. And coincidentally, we had gotten a contact from Garrettsville inquiring about that same unit, so we facilitated a transfer on that. So as we explored the option of getting a UAV unit, a good portion of that cost would be offset by the sale of that piece of equipment, and our actual cost per se would only be around $788. But I wanted to put that on as a discussion item. It's something that we wouldn't necessarily use every day, but we've seen a number of instances have come up with our department where this would have value. And I wanted to put that out there for you guys to take a look at and discuss.
What does that UAV stand for?
Unmanned aerial vehicle, for lack of a better term, it's a drone unit, a drone.
So if we were to look at this as an option, obviously the police department, could it be used across departments? If the fire department had a use for it, would the police be able to come out and deploy it in different manners as we look for options?
Yeah, in short, the answer would be yes, or something like
I didn't
that.
know if it would just be strictly limited to police or if there was opportunities that we could use it for other.
I think the answer is it could be used for others. It would just have to be operated by a certified and licensed operator.
Right, and even if the police had to come out and operate it, but maybe there could be
Yeah.
some interdepartment.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I
If
would
you were
see,
gonna train 2 other people, so there'd be 3 of them.
yeah, I think that ideally we would like to train at least 2 to 3 other officers. So there's cross availability of the unit. So if there's something that happens at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday, we potentially have somebody that's already on staff who maybe worked afternoon shift that's certified and trained and licensed to operate that unit.
How
So
big of a unit are these?
it depends on which one you might get. I think the unit that they're looking at is probably no bigger than what I'm showing you right here. It's like a football. Yeah.
Would we, I know that when I was talking to Captain Atkins about this, there was a lot of obstacles to getting the night fly license. Would we pursue that for the other
For
officers
night
too?
flight?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a night waiver that needs to be obtained for that, and that would happen regardless of what the situation was or who the officer might be that's available to operate. We would just get authorization to do that as a night operation. That's just a series of protocols that would need to be followed to do that. Doesn't necessarily mean that would happen very often. It might not happen at all, but if we needed to do that where something happened at night where the unit needed to go up, there are special protocols attached to that we would have to comply with.
So they would just fly it from the police station?
No, he could be taken to there would be a field case for it, so you could take it to
Oh, so
whatever
you have to
location
take
you're
it
at.
to where you need it?
Yeah, for example, depending if, I'll give you an example. We had a stolen car out of New Jersey a couple of weeks ago. He crashed the car, got out on foot. Our officers just responded. We started calling for mutual aid. We're setting up perimeters. We're checking the area. Whereas if you had a UAV unit, we could easily put that up in the air and kind of get that whole overview of something with a set of eyes from the top that we don't have from the bottom as far as resource deployment. So there have been things like that that have happened where I think the unit would have real value. A second example would be the crash that we investigated in front of the on Talmadge Road, just in front of the golf course, where we thought that was going to be a fatality with a gentleman on the bicycle. Being able to get the unit up in the air to get some aerial overviews and photos and whatnot of that scene is just another resource that we don't have from the ground level looking at that. So that would be another example where something like that might have some value.
I mean, it's a good idea. I'm glad you're being progressive and looking at options.
Do those units come with heat sensors that can be attached to them as well? For
They
like the
can.
chase where you were chasing somebody that you could go over the field and you can see right where they were?
Yeah, they can. That's an option that can be added to that. And I believe the package that Captain put together has that as an option.
That just makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
at least you'd know where he was hiding in the weeds.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So again, this is just, I wanted to put it on for discussion today. I'm not asking you to approve any kind of a purchase today, but I wanted to give you a frame of reference. I did attach a quote that Captain Atkins received that was recommended to him by the gentleman who trained from the state, recommended that provider. So I attached that just as a frame of reference for you. We could certainly obtain one or two additional quotes if that's something you would want us to do going forward to get that, but I attached that one just because that vendor was specifically recommended by the state. But again, this morning is just a discussion piece for this for you.
how many departments in the area are utilizing those at this point?
You know, beyond Portage County, I could do a little bit more homework on that. Here in Portage County, like I said, Ravenna Police Department, Streetsboro Police Department, and Aurora Police Department all currently have a unit.
How have they had good success with it? Have they seen a lot of deployments? I mean, kind of use versus?
Yeah, I know. I talked to Chief Wallace on that. I know that they've been, they're routinely putting their unit up, which we would too. You do routine training on the unit. I don't know how many actual deployments they've had on that. I have not gotten any feedback from any of those departments specifically on any problems or issues per se. I have spoken with those chiefs about that, and they've recommended that the unit does have value, but they haven't identified any specific problems or issues that they've had. Okay. So I had limited my feedback to you basically just to the Portage County agencies that are currently utilizing that. Okay. But again, not asking you for approval on it this morning. I at least wanted to put it out as a discussion item today.
No, I appreciate you bringing that forward. This is good information. Is there other questions from anybody on the UAVs?
I like it. Next thing you're gonna need is a robot.
RoboCop.
They're coming. Read National Geographic this month. Crazy.
They starting in Detroit. So they're starting.
But if you guys are okay,
They got an issue on robots.
at a next meeting, I can bring you more specifics as far as the cost factor goes and get that down to more exact, and we can discuss that.
I look at that $5,000 as we could lose a K-9 unit in a situation like that where you had a person out in the field, because that's what you would let go, right? You'd let the K-9 unit go first if you had it.
Yeah.
For tracking. We could lose an officer that's out there, and I think that'd be just to identify where the purpose hiding.
Yeah, but with the sale of that piece of equipment we made, again, we took in additional funds from that. So that was just an added funds to go towards something like this. So our actual only final cost would be less than $1,000.
What? I thought it was $5.
Well, that was originally overall cost, but with
Oh.
the sale of that piece of equipment,
Okay.
we
I
offset a
get you.
good portion of that cost.
I get you. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see for next meeting, just kind of a final quote and final draft policy of what that would look like for the department.
Okay.
And then, what training is going to look like. Obviously, that's a cost that we have to consider into this piece too, but how the cost and how fast we can get people trained so that it could be operational.
Sure. Yeah,
It's a great idea.
that's fine. That's all I have for you this morning, unless you have any other questions.
We could utilize that a lot on a hazmat instance. Where we don't want them close, we don't want to get close.
Right, that's what I was
We have
thinking.
a lot of high hazard facilities in Brimfield that you just don't know about.
Right,
Throw one out there, BP tank front. That light's off, I'm not getting close to it. You can't.
Right.
So maybe you can get an aerial view.
Well, can't you do some heat recognition too for fires, especially?
I'm just saying,
after
just
fire?
to see the seat of what something is, or hey, we got a large chlorine leak. Well, I don't want everybody passing out, so let's
Right.
send something in to see if we can see where leaks come from.
Okay.
So.
All right, no, I like it. Any other questions for the police?
Okay, good deal. Sounds good.
Fire department, you're up.
All right, for the fire department today, mine is short and sweet. I have been working on something I've been wanting to do for a while. We typically do our senior luncheon with our seniors that we bring in. We provide them lunch. We decided that because of what's going on this year, that it was unsafe. So we did come up with an idea to do what we're calling a community drive and dine, which would be held here at the fire department. Basically, we would provide sausage and hot dog dinner free of charge to all residents. We would bring them in on a route, a designated route that we would have. We could provide them township information to that. We're looking to do that on October 1st, which is a Thursday evening, from 3 to 6. 3 to 4 being senior time, and then 4 to 6 being all of the rest of the community. People stay in their vehicles. If there was weather related, they come through the bays, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. And it would give us a chance for all departments to put out information because we can't have them in-house right now. So feedback on that?
Great idea.
I think it's a great idea. The only question I would have would be from the police department, just the shutting down or the impact on Council and 43. Is there any concerns with that route? Because obviously we'd probably see a pretty large increase in traffic that day.
So traffic's just coming in and gonna enter off of Kelso Drive, right?
Yeah, so we would
Yeah.
shuffle them around through the plaza, through the bays, and out the front.
Okay.
And there probably would be spacing between them because you're gonna, each car will have to stop to get where they.
Yeah,
know.
we've thrown some thoughts out there. Maybe at your corners, you have something, so you have something, guiding them in off Kelso, then maybe something at the first corner for information that would slow them down.
So Cassie could promote the parks.
Yeah,
and
right, depending
or-
on
or the
weather.
Police department wants to promote something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to see each department have a setup of at least a piece of equipment or something, just a way to.
Yeah, there's thoughts out there, and I'm just throwing them out there that we kind of combine them, sorry guys, with our Touch a Truck event where we put trucks on the corners so people have visuals,
I think it's
but
great.
they stay in their vehicles, but it also guides the routes.
And gets
around.
people out.
Yeah, it gets people out. We'll provide our sausage sandwich that we do at Brimfest.
So would there be a rain date?
No, because if it rains, we just move everything information wise in the bays and
Okay.
people are in their cars.
I think it's
So,
good. Let's get
We'd
people
have
out.
shelter for that, and like I said, if any of the departments had information to put out, I have some.
Well, there's
that
still a
I'll
lot
put
of
out.
people that are staying inside.
Right.
Yeah, and this makes it safer for everyone to get out.
Right.
They don't have to walk around, interact with
How many
people.
seniors
They
do
just
we
drive.
have listed at the police?
And they're gonna do sausage?
We have,
Yeah, they do sausage sandwiches and
Like the
hot
Brimfest?
dogs,
Yeah.
because the hot dog's for kids and the sausage for the adults, because some kids don't like sausage.
And obviously
Super
we'll
easy.
run out at some point, but while supplies last. Now, we can call it
Dine and dash.
community drive and dine, or we can call it meet and greet.
But if you're a vegetarian,
Well, then you wouldn't come. No,
You can have veggie dogs.
meet and greet. So I'm just throwing it out
I
there.
like dine and dash.
Dine and dash. Yeah, we can call it whatever.
Meet and greet, you spell it MEAT.
Meet and greet at the dine and dash.
Yeah. So we got a couple of different ideas. Obviously, I will have my firemen out here doing this, but I'll need volunteers and stuff like that.
Can we hook up the hose and give them like a free car wash?
We can think of ideas. The only request I have, whoever has ideas, we got to keep it moving.
Yep.
No slowing it down for face painting. We're not slowing
Oh,
it
yeah.
down for things like that. So we just got to keep it moving because we don't know. We might have 50 cars. We might have 400. I don't know. We've never done this before. So.
we can do a flyer and an update on the Pioneer Cemetery.
Right. So I guess I'm looking for approval to do this with me telling you that it will be
Oh.
COVID compliant, we'll wear masks and all that stuff. And then once I have
Well,
approval,
I
I'll
would
move
like
forward
to
with
make a motion
advertising.
then.
So they're not getting out of their cars?
Nope.
They're just coming through.
I'd like
just
to make a
shuffle them
motion,
through,
we do
provide
the
them a dinner and information.
Community drive and dine,
I'll
as
second
proposed by the fire chief.
that for discussion.
Would there be any objection to putting my PD Badger patch somewhere on here?
Not at all.
Okay.
Because I do want it
If we
as a
set a
community
table up,
event.
we might just hand something off to them as they go by
Absolutely.
too.
You know, it would
That's
be,
what I was thinking, each department could hand something off, flyer,
Mhm.
sticker
Oh,
for
that's good,
kids or
that's good.
whatever.
you know, we threw out a couple ideas. I'll just throw those out there. You know, do you get some popcorn and, you know, do that at one corner, a small thing of popcorn for kids? Do you do candy because we're close to Halloween for kids? You know, just quick stuff, something they can get around the
My
corner.
biggest concern is just the traffic impact, especially on 43. I think we'd almost have to put, when they're coming out of the bays, it's a right-hand turn only.
Right.
Because if you get somebody trying to turn left out of there, that could be a mess. People can turn around.
Right.
Well, they're starting through the fire bay, right?
I would come
they're
off
starting-
Council, back through the
Oh,
plaza, and wrap around, go through the
Okay,
base.
so they're gonna pick up things before they get,
And
That-
then
the
get the
food will be the
food.
last thing.
Yeah.
That would
so
be
you
the
take it home.
idea.
We have somebody directing traffic in and out of the front of your bay, out
Wow.
onto 43.
That's why I brought that up.
We may
for Roy
have
kind
to
of think
have-
about.
This is on a Thursday.
It's on a Thursday evening,
We're gonna be between Orange 6.
3 to 6.
We're gonna have some traffic.
Yeah, that's my
43's gonna have some
concern. That's
traffic.
why I felt like we almost have to make just a right turn only out of there.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's gonna get messy otherwise. I think if it comes out and there's a big thing, or we put something that says your right turn only, I think it becomes much easier.
Mhm.
Right,
To
because
manage
they can
that.
turn around at Speedway or anywhere down there if they need to. They need to come back
Yeah.
into Brimfield.
I think that makes it much more manageable if we did that.
Probably will need department heads' help, if you don't mind. So we'll talk later on what you can provide, but it's for the community. So Parks and Rec, anybody wants to put out information, let's put out information. But like I said, I just gotta keep it moving. If we get
Right.
busy in one bay, then we'll open maybe 2 bays, you know, and
Right.
shuffle them a little
I like
faster.
the
I
idea.
don't know how this will go, but it
Let's
gives
fill up
me
their
information.
front seat with stuff.
Right,
think
like I said, as long as it keeps moving. So
So if I show up and I live in Uniontown,
if you live in Uniontown and you support us and you show up, so be it.
so be it.
If
Yeah,
you really
that
want to
was-
come all the way
but
from
can you-
Uniontown.
Hey, I might
for a
take
hot
I can
dog,
go far for a hot dog.
Can you put something on there that says Brimfield residents?
It does, down at the
Okay.
bottom. It does have that, and we would
Oh, okay, yeah.
promote that, of course, but of course, you're gonna get people that
Just
wouldn't
highlight.
be, you know.
For the amount of people that are
I
not
think,
from Brimfield.
I think
it's
per
no
the
big deal.
firemen's discussion that we had, we felt like if you're really coming out to get information from Brimfield, you probably support us then. So maybe they throw it on Facebook that thank you to, and it's promotion, so.
Do trustees get the first sausage sandwich?
If
We're supposed to help.
if you're helping cook them.
Yeah.
One for you, one for me.
Right.
That's a great idea.
Right, so of course, I'm gonna get as many donations as possible for this, and
How many you guessing? 500?
I don't even know yet. We haven't even got to that.
That's
number
the
yet.
hard part is the logistics of over
Don't
and
know.
under buying, right? I don't know.
Well,
Well, I can donate checks or something.
fortunately, we have a restaurant that might be able to use the extra. Probably not, but. we'll
There
see.
will be no extra.
Yeah.
People were
So,
getting 5 hot dogs. at the end.
any questions related to that I can answer right now?
What's the date of that?
October 1st, we decided on a Thursday evening because Friday night football games, but who knows with that. Thought Thursday might be a good day.
That was 3 to 6.
About 3 to 6 p.m. One more note on that, so we'll get the senior list. We'll still mail out flyers to our seniors to make it special for them. Like we usually do, just right there, we usually pull about 200 to 220 seniors. So
Do you think,
we'll see.
just from time frame, do you think 3 to 6 is good, or would it be better doing 4 to 7? Being at dinner, I just know a lot of people.
We thought 3 to 6 because we anticipate overflowing at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
You know.
That's just my concern, is a lot of people, don't get off work till 5:30.
And the seniors, they generally eat about between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
You might want to adjust it a little bit,
Okay. Well, we,
3:30 to.
yeah, we can discuss.
Oh, you had a big crowd, if you stay open.
Well, that's what I anticipate. We got a line around the corner. Well, when it comes 6 o'clock, can't help.
See ya.
It basically would go till the food's out, and then I'm out. So, and then that would be an educated guess by all of us to say what we think. I don't know.
Right. Hey, you never know till you try.
So, but just, we have no other route to get information out this year, and this is something we think we can be COVID compliant and do all
I
that
think it's a
stuff.
great idea to get it out, so.
I think probably your sausage, your hot dog and chips is probably a simple, quick route. I know some people want to provide more, but I just don't want to slow it down.
No, I think just handing a bag of chips and a hot dog sandwich wrapped in foil and send them on their way.
It'll be good. It'll be our sausage sandwich from
Right.
this, so
Right.
it won't be junk.
Okay, we need to have a motion on the table list.
Yeah, so we need a roll call vote on that to accept doing the event.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
That's really all I had.
One little note, I don't know if it'd be worth it, is, kind of you could find like an old time band, like River City Jazz or something, would be cool to have.
Right.
Have somebody just playing for a couple hours while they're, I mean, if they're lined up, they can put their windows down and listen.
I mean, I've had ideas, one of the ones we threw out there,
Yeah.
and I think I talked to Nick about this. Remember at Brimfield, the Elsa and Spider-Man people that just walk around for the kids, something like that, something that keeps it
But then
moving.
they're sort of, you don't want them going up to the windows and stuff.
Well, but that's ideas.
Right.
To keep people moving, kids can say, oh, look at that, and distraction. Right. Canine demonstration.
Nick in a superhero outfit.
Well, I do need someone dressed as a hot dog out front, so.
Oh, God, that's John. We got
John.
the fire breather.
No, John.
Fire breather.
John, it's gotta be John,
I already dressed up too much.
big brat. So,
I like that.
yeah, no, it'll be good. We'll make it.
We could do Sue as a Disney princess.
Right.
Wow. Now that she's 1 year younger.
Yeah. So, it'll be good. We'll make it worth their while.
It's a great idea. Great.
That's really all I had on that. The only thing I had on administration was to let the board know and the public know that our soccer fields, the road department has put up the goals. I think, Dave, they were working on the last one this morning.
Yes.
And the goals are really nice and they're already using it. They started. Kids are out there in the evening.
So that's field soccer or?
Right now, yes, it is field use soccer that's
Good.
utilizing that, but I'll have some pictures later that we can post and kind of show the public, but a lot of good feedback still.
I know, I hope the community realizes how much the township has done for the
Right.
field youth football and for field soccer. I mean, we're,
Yeah, just to say that, if people don't know, we also allowed field youth football to use the Edson Road Park
I know,
outfield and provided them a place where they didn't have a place
yeah.
to go this year.
Is there any update on the other soccer team?
No.
You mean the ones over by Joey, Rapaski's place?
No.
No, high school,
High school.
high school girls, and I've had discussion, but we're okay.
Yeah, you know, there's two fields over there. Joe Rapaski's
Right.
donating his property like people.
Yeah, so field youth, because they have so many teams this year, have split areas. So they're using our fields and Rapaski's fields, because they have so many teams this year. The kids want to play soccer.
It's so great having places for soccer to play in.
Yeah, no, and officially started this week, so they started practice finally.
So are you over here,
No, I'm at Rapaski's.
Rapaski?
Yeah.
How's that working out?
We have our first practice next Tuesday, so we'll find out. But I think the other teams that have practiced said that things are going well and they're happy.
Yeah.
So,
John,
That's great.
for discussion, do I need to ask for approval for the shed purchase?
Yes, we should.
Should I
We
go
need to
ahead
add,
should I go ahead and get that done?
all right, so I'll make a motion to amend the agenda under administration
I'll
to
second.
add the purchase of a shed. And Mike seconded that.
She shed.
okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue,
yes,
motion
now you can
passed.
discuss it.
Well, we already approved it, but we should have.
Well, the discussion needs to be.
Well, let's put it on the agenda.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're
The
right.
discussion needs to be, in my personal opinion, I would like to get something that will last a while. To do that, you're talking $5,500, which we have. Right. Well, I don't want to speak for John. We
We have.
discussed this.
We
If you want to go a little bit better, or we can buy something smaller and replace it in a few years. Just depends on what the board
I mean,
would like to
will
do.
this be a good size?
Oh, yeah. This would be,
What's the turnaround though? I know we had talked and there was a 12-week wait, which
well,
really helps this
there's a
year.
couple different options. There's the option of possibly a wood shed with roll-up garage doors. That's what I'm talking about. We don't know a lead time on that till I talk to him this afternoon.
Okay.
Well, my thoughts, what I'm wondering is, will this be, could it be a dual purpose? So say when we do have Brimfest again, would you be able to use it possibly for storing some stuff from
Possibly,
Brimfest?
yeah.
So
What
Yeah,
Now,
we
I-
might want to
this
get a
is for
little
the
bit
soccer
bigger.
field?
Right.
So Craig, we might want something a little bit bigger.
I agree with that. The other option is, and I don't know, I know I've had discussion with Mike Ladd, it's zoning code, but you could do a storage unit, shipping container.
One we just got rid
Hear
of.
me out. Well, I couldn't get that one for whatever reason, but if you do a certain size, which I believe is a 20-foot shipping container, and you painted it, use it as a billboard for the field or Brimfield Township, and you made it nice, it would look nice. Because I think people think shipping container and think, oh, looks awful. But
They
if you
want
painted
$1,200
them,
for them, they're cheap.
you can, I've seen them from $1,200 to $1,900 on that end.
They're heavy
No one's
duty.
kicking those doors in to steal anything. There's no windows.
Our thought was to paint it and then maybe find somebody locally or a group that would come out and then do, like the Brimfield Township logo or the falcon on the side of it, just giving it, so it gives it a nice artistic look.
So it's dual purpose.
And I'm all about the security. I think that would be secure.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
you
one's
want
breaking
it-
in that.
You want in there, you're bringing some equipment to get in there.
So
It's not just a random 3 or 4 kids walking by with nothing to do. Like you
Mike-
said, kick the thing in.
Mike Ladd,
You're muted.
Yes.
what's the size shipping container that I can do?
So if you're going over 200 square foot, then you'll need a concrete base. It needs to be anchored down. And then you'll need building permits as well as zoning. But if you're under 200 square foot, then you're good to go.
Okay, even with town center, there's nothing.
Yes, and then in my report, we have accessory structures. We're moving to 5 foot from property lines. It's now 15 foot. So that'll be a little bit more flexible for you as well.
You're reporting it sort of by the pitching area.
Yeah, so my idea would be on the north end, it leveled. Obviously, you set it in there, you make it a billboard for whatever we end up naming the field maybe, put our township logo on it, so it's an advertisement, it's painted nice, it's not a rusty old shipping container.
That's good.
It's good.
And like I said, with the 11 teams that we started, no, 14. I don't know how many's over there, but they can put the ball bags in there. We can store the goals in there in the winter. Just an option.
Well, it could be multi-purpose for us as well.
And you can add on to them. My brother, his group, they're putting up homes with these things.
Well, I know in Brookstown with my boys' football team, they took one, they cut a door in it, a man door in the side, and they used 2 of them, and they painted them blue, and they look great.
Yeah, nothing against shed, but man, personally, I'd rather you go with something heavy duty like that.
So it's an option.
And if
There's
you're
a
worried
place right out
about,
of Ravenna I can get them from.
if you're worried about the look, you could always put a simple roof on the top of it and that sort of smooths it out a little bit.
Going with back to the numbers of 5,500, that would way exceed what I would need, but I would rather exceed.
Well, but that gives the potential if we want to put a more solid base underneath of it too.
Right.
Well, why don't we just go with the storage unit and put $5,500 and then we'll just figure it out from there?
Well, let's not name storage unit because I just don't know yet.
Well,
I gotta look at sizes and everything.
Yeah, and we're saying storage unit
Yeah.
in a generic term. A
Oh,
storage
gotcha.
unit
Okay.
Could be a
for
shed,
that.
you could be a
and
storage
as you're
unit.
thinking about this whole thing, I mean, if you do put a pad under it, you ought to maybe oversize the pad, because I've seen some of the pictures my brother showed me where they're putting porches off of it.
Well, if I do a pad, going back to Mike Ladd, if I do a pad, I can go up to a full size
I
unit.
mean, just think, with the Brimfest or something, if you put a porch over it, right there, you have a facility where, the township can set up their booth, I mean, we know that the Brimfest won't be here,
Right.
and so
So if you're-
we need to make the right moves right now.
Keep in mind, if you're putting a pad and you're anchoring it down, you could go as big as you want to go, as long as it fits within the boundaries of the property lines and keeps the 5 foot.
We don't want to get too big because we also have plans for a pavilion and a walking track over there, so we don't need a monstrous shipping container.
I agree and disagree. We got plenty.
Okay.
So having the bigger is better, I think.
But if somebody walked in there tomorrow and said, hey, we give you $1 million, we're selling it all, so I don't know how much we want to put
Oh,
in
they
there.
can have my shipping container for $1,900.
I know, but I'm thinking, how much do we want to build a building there and do all that gets,
Like I said, we don't need to settle. I just need to know that I can research and do some things.
Gotta have green space.
So I'll make the motion to purchase a storage unit not to exceed $5,500 for the entire project. Right. I need a second.
I'll second.
Any additional discussion on that? Okay, roll call.
okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
Mike Ladd, one question on that. If I did go with a larger one, do I have to go before the BZA?
No,
Okay, I just have to acquire a permit.
right, it's just a zoning certificate.
Zoning.
I mean, there is a building that triggers over 200 square foot, but there's also some exemptions from government also, so we could go through that.
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Zoning, Mike, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. So the first thing I have for the trustees this morning is I'm requesting board approval to Amendment 1. It's accessory structures. Right now, accessory structures are 15 feet from the principal building and also, 15 feet in most areas from property lines. We would like to move that to 5 feet. And we went through the zoning commission and we went to regional planning. Everything was approved by both of those. So zoning commission is now bringing it back to you for approval.
I would like to make a motion to approve Amendment 1 to Section 510.03 accessory structures, adjusting the boundary from 15 foot to 5 foot. Second for discussion.
second.
Any discussion from the group? Are we seeing a lot of variances or requests on that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people with smaller lots, as the PRDs came in along with Beechcrest. There's a lot of people that want to put sheds and clean up their yards, but they can't get the sheds. And then when they find out that the fee is $200 to go to the BZA for a shed that doesn't cost that much money, people are getting annoyed. So I'd like to loosen that restriction. As long as it doesn't block the swales, I think we're in good shape.
And that's a big thing, because that's why we have all those problems in Beechcrest, because they build in the swells. Now, this 18 feet in height, does that seem like a lot?
That's been on our books forever. I didn't change
That's tall.
It's not that, actually, when you get to it, it's not that tall, especially with pole barns.
Oh, pole barns, okay. Okay.
Any other questions on this?
I mean, the one last thing, how do people know that they can't build on a swell? Should it be in here, or is there other documentation that you don't want to block the water flow?
So the swell's usually between the property lines. We're going to stay 5 feet from there, but also when they fill out an application, we pull up the GIS from the county, and I look to see where the contours are going, make sure that they're not blocking a swell.
Okay.
I think it's a good change. I know when I was on the boards, there was a lot of concern about that 5 foot compared to 15 foot.
Okay.
Because that's a big gap on the side of your property when you're trying to tuck it to the back corner
Yeah,
to maximize your property use.
there you are.
Good.
Roll call?
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
Okay, the second item I have is request board approval on Amendment 2. This is for swimming pools. This is the same thing. Basically, we're moving from 15 feet to 5 feet from any property line or easement. Don't want to block the swales, but when I went to regional planning, they had a good idea and they actually added the structure associated with the pool. So if there's a structure like a deck or something like that, they would still have to maintain at least the 5 foot from the property lines.
Okay, so we're allowing them to get closer to the property line, but that includes the structure, so they couldn't creep the structure up to the 5 foot.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve amendment number 2, section 510.10 swimming pools, to change the easement from 15 foot to 5 foot.
Second.
Okay,
Questions on that one?
that's straightforward.
Roll call?
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes,
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
Thank you. Going on with the report, Five Below Cascades is now open. Menards is still planning September. Virtual zoning commission meeting will be September 10th at 7 o'clock. The virtual board of zoning appeals hearing is September 16th. Sunny Hills Villas is going well. They're under construction. You can see that right off I-18. Looks like their garages are pretty complete already, and then working on the foundations for the apartments. Comprehensive land use plan, we're working on a community survey, and Nick, Todd emailed us last night with the survey from what we worked on at zoning commission, and then I could either pass it along, or if you want to pass it along to everybody for their comments, or if they want to add questions or take something off, it's a good start right there.
Yeah, can you forward that out today
Yes.
to all the department heads?
Yes.
This is not out to the public yet. We just want everybody to review these questions. Let us know if you have any question on them. I haven't even seen them yet, so I don't know if there's anything I'd want taken out too, so I will look at it. And then for the trustees to look at too, this is going to be our first part of our community engagement survey. So any questions we might want changed, and then anything the department heads want added to it. So if there's area that you want to grab data on, this is your opportunity for us to communicate to the entire community on this.
If we don't like a question, you want us to throw that back at you?
Yes, anything you want removed, added, or changed, let us know, and then we'll follow suit with that. And if we could set a deadline on that, we could have it all done within a week. So today's the 26th. If you could review that, have it back to Mike by the 2nd. Mike, that way you could get with Todd to get it all cleaned up for the next trustee meeting, because we will need a board approval before we send that survey out.
Okay.
And I also had an idea, and we can talk about this later, but I thought Todd may need to be at this drive-through event we're doing, and he could be handing out information about what we're working on too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. Also, we have the subdivision and HOA list from regional. So I had Gail take a look at who was actually listed as an HOA and licensed by the state of Ohio and registered. So you should have that list. I sent that off yesterday. That should.
Pleasant Lakes isn't on there, and I know they have a homeowners association. It's just how active is this list, I guess?
So this is the most current, and if they're not licensed by the state of Ohio, there could be HOAs that don't, for whatever reason, don't license with the state. I don't know why they wouldn't, but they wouldn't be on that list. Okay. And you could always ask, if it's your HOA, you could always ask, why aren't we licensed by the state? Probably a good idea to be licensed.
So with this list, Mike, are we gonna be able to go out and see which one of these subdivisions have areas that may be of concern for us related to maintenance?
Yeah, my next step in the process is I'm just gonna drive them and see what we have maintenance-wise on each one of them that don't have a listed HOA, and then narrow it down, so.
Okay. Perfect.
King's Car Wash is still planning on coming in. The owner, he was young, he was 20, oh, he's 29, he's young, but he had COVID, and I guess it really took a toll on him. So we did, he's out for over a month now, and but he's better now, and he's coming in and working with me on that. Search warrants are now complete, and we're just waiting reports from the health department and building department. I have fires already, so I would anticipate at least out of the ones we did the other day, at least 3 of them will be coming to the board for demo. The one that is on 43 that the Golf Pro owned, is actually in good shape, just not maintained as far as the outside. So maybe we could send some nasty letters to him to get him to clean it up. Our permit fees for the year, total date is $97,735. And I know yesterday, with the permits and activity that just went on, we should be over 100,000 today. So.
Can you, because I know this is gonna be a question that some of us are gonna get asked after this meeting. Any updates on the property on 43 and the development of a gas station there? Has any applications been set, and will that be at a BZA meeting in the future?
So I had a Zoom meeting with Sheets this week. They had some variance questions that were presented to me, and I told them if there's too many variances, then that means they're probably in the wrong zoning district. So they're currently going back through to make sure that they limit or have very few variances. Their biggest ones, I did give them an update on the liquor in the school. I think that's a hot topic for the community, that from what we've seen, their lawyers are going to be researching the laws on that as well. But they are planning on coming in to a meeting in October or November is their plan.
Okay, so there's still some time before they go, because I know it's a hot topic. That way I can at least give feedback that there's no application submitted this time.
No, there isn't. There's no application. And our meetings are already, I had Jendi yesterday send everything out for our zoning commission and our BZA for September. So those meeting dates are closed. What we have there is on. Anything coming in right now would go on to the October meeting.
Now the liquor issue, how close do you remember that it could be to a school?
I thought it was 1,000, but I'm going to take a look into it once I.
Okay, now is that the school property, right? Not the actual building?
It's right across the street. So yeah,
What?
you just have the width of the pavement is the only.
Right,
Well, you've got Victory Baptist Church also
right.
that deals with how
You got
close
church-
you
You got a church right next to it and across the street, and Kelso
All
House.
right. I understand that you guys have got a lot of comments and emails from this topic.
I think the last I heard from Jendi was at least 60. So
Yeah, but I just want to keep the community aware that A, the Board of Trustees has no, there's nothing we can do as a board on this piece at this point. And B, that it has to go through an application process, and we haven't even received that application. There's just been some misrumors in the community, and I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page, that it hasn't been approved and they haven't been moving forward at this point.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's nothing wrong with Sheets. It's just, I think, where they spot. I mean, the Sheets has to be well aware of what's going on, right?
yes, they are. I mean, I have to officially turn it down when they do apply, and I will officially turn it down. And that's the whole reason of going to the Board of Zoning Appeals, is there's a section in the code that allows uses not covered. That is something also, obviously Sheets is going to have the right to apply for this one, but going forward after Sheets, I'm taking a look at, and I have the zoning commission as well as regional planning working on if it's a use covered in the book and it's already in the back of our appendices, and we allow, for example, gas stations and highway commercial, then it is a use that is covered in our book. So I think if we cover a use as far as like even adult entertainment, it's covered in there. But the way our code has been written over the years is they can actually apply in the town center. I think that's kind of crazy to even gamble with it. So I would like to have that section removed out of there. I mean, we'll cover as many uses as we can, but I think we'll have it reworded where if it's a use not covered in our appendices, then they can come before the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I think that's the way it should have been written.
Okay.
Also, let the public know we don't own that land.
Yes, yeah, that's
We
another
don't plan
piece.
on buying it.
Yeah, because I've heard the solution is, why don't we just put the new fire station there, or why don't the township just not sell it? You guys want to make money. We don't own that piece of our property. That's not ours. That was the school's property. The township had an opportunity to buy that years ago, but was not in a position to buy that. So they sold that to a private investment group, and that's who owns that. We have no connection with that property other than it lands in our boundaries of our community.
Yep.
And we don't intend on buying it.
No, the price would not work for what we would want to use it for. Anything else? All right, thank you for your report. That's going to take us into the next section. Dave, you're up.
Morning, everybody. Just to let you know, we had Portage County Water Resources come out and they did some cameraing of several of our storm sewers and stuff, where we've been having some issues with some sinkholes. We only found 2 bad areas that we need to go back and do some digging and replace a little bit of pipe.
Where's that at?
One of them is on Estes, and the other one was on Meadow Park.
Does it have something to do with the guy?
No,
No?
not on his side. The other spots, best we can determine, is just ground settlement from over years. Who knows what was buried around them, this and that, but the inside of the pipes are perfectly fine.
Okay.
So, like Craig mentioned earlier, we've been working on putting up the soccer goals. It should be completed here shortly. Then we're going to start doing some more asphalt patching in areas where we have some real low spots on the berms and stuff, where we keep putting material in there. It keeps washing. I'm just going to asphalt them instead of wasting time and material on that anymore. We were leveling off and topsoiling some more graves when we had time. Sterling Green and Chapman Farms allotments, they're both finished. It's just right now we're waiting on paperwork. It's got to go through Omnipro and the county okay everything, quantities, and then we'll be complete. The work is completed now. It's just the paperwork.
It's looking really nice back there.
Yeah.
I was really
They
happy.
did a very nice job for us and stuff. So, then move on to that, where I asked the board approval last time for Cardinal to go in and fix the spots in Willowbrook. That work is completed now. There's a few things I discussed it with Nick asked me. There's a manhole, not a manhole, but a marker in the middle of the road. They've already reached out to Carvo to fix that. So they're supposed to take care of that. And then on the 3 main patches we did on Willowbrook, we agreed with Cardinal that we would firm them when they were done. So that'll be taken care of by us, and Carvo should take care of the other thing. But if Carvo starts dragging her feet again, I'll get out and we'll take care of the survey marker.
Okay.
So, but and then that brings you to the next fun one. We're still working on Carvo to do some completions of odds and ends of their job they did for us last year and completed this spring. There's a few things out there, just a punch list. We just got to have them complete a couple things, but we did receive the bill for their the chip and seal portion of it, which was fine. They come in, they did a great job on that, HVUI, so we paid that portion off, 123,000, I think it was, for the chip and seal side of it and all that. So that's that. So now we still quote like 35,000 we still owe Carvo, but until they do the punch list and complete, it would be kind of on hold. So then the next thing, I'm asking for board approval. I had S&G Masonry come out and look at the catch basins and curb replacements on a bunch of catch basins I have collapsing around town. There's 18 of them they're going to do, and about 150 foot of curb, which ties into a lot of the catch basins. Yeah, I mean, some catch basins have 5 feet, some have 17 feet. They're going to replace everything, level them all back out. Plus, there's a few curb jobs on this too, where there's curb in areas that's just gone nuts up.
Are there any of these in Beechcrest or
Well, Beechcrest too.
Beechcrest too?
Yeah, off of Brimfield,
Right.
Holmesby, Morley. There's a grouping of them in there. Of course, I didn't bring my list with me. So, oh no, I guess I did bring my list. Yeah, well, there's the main ones in off of Brimfield or Holmesby. There's a total of 5 of them there. Morley's got a total of 4 in there. High Point, excuse me, it's got 1 catch basin repair, but there's a bunch of curb and gutter leading up to some catch basins that are up and down, so we want to smooth them before the water gets to the catch basin. Meadow Park, there's 3 there, well, considered Marsh Landing development, but 3 in Meadow Park, 1 in Glen Park, which is in and the Marsh Landing thing too, which is collapsing in front of the driveway. So we want to complete them. Fairwood, there's at least one collapsing in the gentleman's yard. They're gonna brick that one back up, put a new top on it, put a, how do you say it? A nowadays top on it compared to the old days top. You know what I mean? It'll actually be more functional. It'll be down lower and everything can swale through it easier. And then there's another one out here at Sanctuary View that we did let go last year, and that's the grouping of them. The total cost of it, his estimated price was $60,500, but I'm requesting $65,000 because what it is, if the lids are damaged, he has to go out. We got to put new grates on them all. Pretty much, you got our fingers crossed. All the grates look real good when we looked at them the other day, but you don't know until you start pulling the concrete away from them. If they're broke down below or something. There's a lot of brick and concrete work and stuff to be done.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the catch basin curb replacement for the cost not to exceed $65,000. And who's the vendor?
S&G Masonry.
Through S&G Masonry.
That's who we've used the last 2 years.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
I just want to make one comment on it. We had, this has all been part of Dave's projects for repairs and maintenance. So we've been planning this stuff throughout the year. And he's well within his budgetary numbers to get all that done. So
I'm glad you're looking into doing this.
Any other discussion on it? Not roll call vote?
okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Yeah, I will let him know because he did truly want to get started on right away. So, I mean, like I told him, I had to wait, but.
Right.
And a lot of these will take care of a lot of complaints. You know, I hate to say like Roy's house is collapsing, you know, I mean, if we would cross our fingers and try to do another winter, I wouldn't have enough steel plates to cover them all. So there are some really bad ones. And these are the worst of the worst. Trust me, I'll probably have another list for you next year. Same stuff, because they're just collapsing.
No,
So,
I might
other than that, that concludes my report.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move us into Parks and Rec. Cassie, the floor is yours.
It says that I'm Brian Gardner. I am not Brian Gardner, Cassie. But anyway, so my first item is field youth football. They have been using the soccer fields at Edson Park, Lions Park.
You're real quiet.
Oh,
I got
I'm
it.
quiet. Can you hear me?
That's better.
Hello, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Field youth football has been using the soccer fields at Lions Park for practices. And they have requested to use the field for games in September and October. I believe they said about 4 games they wanted to use the field for. So I wanted to bring that to the board for approval.
So I'll make a motion to approve field youth football for games. Need a second for discussion.
I'll second it for discussion.
So my only concern is is there any requirements on the township under the new recommendations out of the state house when it comes to games, social distance marking, supplies we would have to provide? Are we able to meet any of those guidelines, those sorts of things?
My only concern would be the parking, because I know we don't have a lot of parking there. Yeah, I would have to review the guidelines for youth football, but I believe we can meet those requirements.
And they will clean up after?
Yeah.
My only concern is if we need to mark, then we need to make sure that we have time to get on a mark where spectators have to separate by, and then also providing hand sanitation units in those areas.
Right.
And I know high school football now, 15% of their occupancy, that's what the number is.
Yeah, but that's different. They excluded youth sports from that competitive piece now. So, Dave, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, what it is, I mean, I can speak for like the youth organization, I guess. I mean, I'm there every night.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess I can't swear every night. I'm missing one here and there, but the youth organization does put hand sanitizer out. They're on like the picnic tables. People can use them. Most of the parents have been, they sit here, next one sits the 6 feet. Yeah, the thing is, everybody's been working hard to keep the distancing and stuff. And I'm sure the other programs are the same, because they don't want to shut down and the kids not have sports.
I'm not so worried about field parents, it's whatever team's coming in.
Well, and I don't want to speak for Craig, but we've also, some of the games we've been asked as coaches to wear a mask on the field because the other team's parents want everybody, like masks. So everybody's going to do what they can to keep this going. If it requires you to wear a mask, sanitizing the ball after every play, it's just one of them things that pretty much everybody's so excited that their kids can do something right now, like playing football, cheerleading. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, even playing in the park.
Right.
The younger ones get to play here while the other ones are, and it's been really good. I mean, people have been very good on, of course you get some guys like me that walks up to somebody I know and just starts talking, and we don't, but it's not like it's a constant 60, 70 people just standing in this one. They're spread out really well.
So my thought is this, is that because I want sports, but I want kids to have some type of interaction if we can in a safe environment, is that, I think we should allow it and just monitor it. And if we start to see congregations of people or whatever, at that point, then the board reserves the right to shut it down and say, you played one game and it didn't go well, we're going to stop it at this point.
Right. Normally at practices, I mean, I can't say I'm monitor when I'm standing out in the field with the kids, but like I said, I do a lot of watching around, and like I said, they are been very good. I mean, you may not get a perfectly 6 foot distance, but at least they are separated.
Is there enough room, and I haven't been out there yet, to line an official size
Actually, the field,
game field?
Yeah, it's lined right now. We didn't line it, we lined it for the kids to practice.
Right.
I mean, that was, but yeah, that's official size.
To have enough for away and home?
Yep.
Down the sidelines? Yeah.
And so you still have like you said, the work on the social distancing. I mean, we would barricade off the baseball field. That way nobody, could get on there, because they've already.
Yeah, I would say that would be the next thing. I don't want that field destroyed.
Right. No, it would be, we already got roping and stuff like that. So, and plus, I've already made the mention, if we do play, we'd be the opposite side, the home team.
Okay.
We would sit at the baseball side.
Good.
That way we
would
can
make
monitor
sense.
people, know not to mess with it. So, and our parents have been really good. They see people horse playing, they yell and get off. So,
Because Crestwood now has their own youth field. Waterloo has their own youth field.
I think it's
Not
only gonna
saying
be,
this is your guys', but
no,
if we can help provide that.
I think truthfully, we're down to just 3 games, because I think the first one we're supposed to play at the Waterloo field
Yes.
as a home team,
Yep, you will.
and they're not gonna change that. So it would only be like 3 games,
Do they have,
unless we make it to playoffs.
do they have a reduced schedule?
Yes. What have we got? 4
We have,
games and then
we have a
playoffs.
reduced schedule because of teams opting out, not because of making it a reduced schedule. For example, Southeast decided not to even do their program this year, which is weird, but Southeast is out, Wyndham's out, Waterloo's out. So just made it a reduced schedule.
So, yeah, like I say, they could be playoff games. I don't know how the playoffs work. If they have a central area, everybody plays. I don't.
Yeah.
This is our first time in the league.
It's a max of 2 games beyond the official, so you would probably have a max of 4.
I mean, I'm good with it. Any feedback, Sue, on it? Any feedback, Sue, on the field?
What?
Any feedback on
No.
letting them play? Okay.
No, I think we're good.
All right. Roll call vote then.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
And then you guys would provide the concession stand also?
They wheel out some stuff, put a table up, and then, like I say, 2 people take care of that. Everybody surprised how little kids right now are even paying attention to stay. They don't just crowd at the table. So it like I said, parking wise, I think we'll be all right, because like I said,
You have more parking than some of these places.
Right,
You have more
it's-
parking than Waterloo, and they make it work.
with the removal of all the dirt.
Right.
I mean, we put some grindings down there not for this, but for our shop for the semis can get in and out easier, and so we could put a lot of parking there. I mean, it just would have to be, I'd have to make sure just like our bays ain't blocked off, just in case of emergency, so.
Okay.
Would we want to require COVID waivers to be signed by the teams that would be visiting?
I would say they've probably already
we
signed
already
those
signed.
through the league, and I know that's what youth soccer is kind of doing, is league signatures, so they're all maintained by the league now.
Okay, and then I do have our COVID signs that I had made a few months ago for athletic fields regarding social distancing and all that stuff, so I'll make sure those are up.
Okay.
Okay, next item, Craig already touched on this. Field youth soccer began practicing on the new soccer field this past Monday. Next item, Boy Scout group that uses the Lions Park for camping called me this week to see if they could do their usual camping in September in the park. The only difference would be this year that they would not be using the lion shelter because the lion shelter is no longer being used. And
keep
they
fading-
assured me,
You keep
oh.
fading in and out.
oh, sorry, that's weird. So the Boy Scouts would like to request to use Lions Park for camping like they do every year, with the difference being that they would not be using lion shelter this year because we're no longer renting that facility. And they assured me that they would be social distancing and camping in separate tents. So I want to bring that to the board for approval as well.
Right, does she really need board approval? She's our Park and Recs director.
Well, but we've closed the park, so I guess
Oh,
we
okay.
should probably say
Yeah,
yes. to that.
I wanted to bring it before you guys for just because of COVID-19.
Okay. I
Things
would-
are different now. So
And then the other thing, I think you ought to reach out to them and talk, like I said, about Cranberry Creek. I mean, there's less bugs, less noise. I mean, Edson, right by the swamp.
Well, they do it on the weekends, that's what football be.
And that's, yeah, like he said,
That's my only concern, is that it's gonna be based upon the football schedule and the sports schedule down there, that I would not want them camping when there's gonna be a football game going on, because that's
Okay.
just, we're bringing too many people
I
together.
thought they camped behind the community center though, in that big field where the Pharmaketis baseball field used to be, which is way over.
They used to. And then
they did, and the bugs were so bad.
Oh, is that why they moved from there?
I mean, that Tim Monk, I think you ought to talk to him, because that's a nice area over there.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you don't have to worry about football or any of that stuff.
If it rains, they have the shoulder to get to, the shoulder to the dog
The
park.
Boy Scouts,
Yeah, well, okay,
they don't melt.
Well, why don't you just make the motion for Lions Park or Cranberry
Okay,
Creek?
I will make a motion for,
We already have
approve
one,
this with-
or no, never mind, take that back, I'm sorry.
with a strong suggestion that they try Cranberry Creek. And if it doesn't work out, to do Lions, so, yeah, they will allow them, as long as it does not conflict.
I will second that discussion. My only concern is just making sure it doesn't conflict with other reservations, because we don't want two events happening at once during COVID. So if the football team's there, then, they gotta pick around those
Boy, and
things.
one has rented and paid.
Right.
okay.
Cassie, do you know what's the number of the troop? I forget their troop number.
Oh, I don't remember.
259, you're right. Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, my next item is that the Brimfield Athletic Association did remove the metal storage container from the park from Dave's Road Garage. So that
Oh,
is
yeah.
taken care of.
That went quick on Facebook, I watched it.
How much did it cost? Do we have any idea?
750 or something?
Yeah, 750 is right. Well,
Quick.
it was, the doors on that weren't that good.
Well, and I think that's what I'm saying. I want to get one, but I want to hand pick a really nice one. If I could.
We couldn't even close them up, the lock on.
Right.
The next item is the Parks Committee. I made a little phrasing error here. I did put job description. I'd like to reiterate that this is not a job, it is a voluntary position. But the application and committee outline have been posted on the web and social media, and I'll be accepting applications until September 15th. I've already gotten 3 applications, so that's great. If you're out there watching and you want to apply, please do so. And then my next item is programs and events coming up. I am starting a web series called Backyard Brimfield, where I'm taking submissions from people that live in Brimfield of pictures and videos of wildlife sightings in their backyard. If they have identification questions on plants or animals or anything like that, I will take them and do a short little video series every other week, highlighting some things that we can see in our backyard. So I'm very excited about that. The first episode will air September 12th. I'm also working on doing a virtual moth program with Portage Park District to be determined sometime in September. We will be going out to the Kent Bog expansion property on Howe Road and setting up some moth bait and trying to attract some different moths. That'll be really interesting. I'm also planning some virtual hikes at the suggestion of Nick, going out into the park and doing some kind of similar things where we walk through the park and identify some things along the trail and highlight our parks. And I am also brainstorming events or ideas for the Christmas tree lighting for 2020, which will be Sunday, November 29th. It's always the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So, and that is all.
Great, I like your virtual ideas. Yeah, that'll be neat.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. All right, any questions for Parks and Rec? All right, moving on, cemetery, we had one deed to sign.
Right.
We can sign.
Yep, it's all taken care
Fiscal office, you're up.
I just have an FYI. You
Yes.
don't have to do anything about it, but I want to tell you about it. The Ohio Cemetery Association has a quarterly magazine that
Okay.
they put out. And they've contacted us and they want to do a full spread, big time article about our Pioneer Cemetery to be published in their quarterly. So Rochelle and I will be working together on that, to pull that together, do some pictures and dig up some history and write a nice article for that magazine.
Oh, that'll be exciting. Well, let us know when it comes out.
Okay, oh well.
Perfect. All right,
Okay.
fiscal, I think we have something, State Route 43 purchase.
of. Yes, we do. We've talked about this in past, the purchase of the property at, wrote it down, Craig. 4096 State Route 43, which is Wanda Wright's property right next door. We approved it at the last meeting. We have all the bond counsel information in regards to the paperwork that needs to be completed. It's all done. It just needs trustee signatures. And then there's a resolution that we're going to put in the minutes that, if you'd like to read it, I can give you a synopsis of it, but it's multiple pages long.
Synopsis.
Yeah, let's do a synopsis.
It, in sense, is the resolution authorizing the assurance and sale of $100,000 building site acquisition bond series 2020 and matters related thereto. So it's going to go through the process of them acquiring bonds for us to pay off, and we have a payment schedule for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years that we're going to be paying on the property. So that's what this is all set up. So we're going to do all that. We've talked about it in the past. They wanted to change some of our addresses. Instead of it going to Cleveland, it has to go to Superior, Colorado. They just made some changes to it. So what we need to do is just pass the approval of bond counsel for the purchase of the property on the 4096 State Route 43, and then I have signature pages.
So I'll make a motion to approve bond counsel for the sale of bonds to purchase 4096 State Route 43.
I will second.
And so this is the purchase of the property next to the town hall. And one of the reasons we were making this purchase is because our property is running through part of their driveway and home, and that property was up for sale. So it made sense for us to acquire that.
All right, nobody else could really use it as a home. without-
Right, because they'd have to tear out the driveway, they'd have to tear out the garage, and there'd be a lot of issues with that.
And it's an exciting possibility. I mean, we could actually put the town square back together again.
Yeah, I think that's part of our goal, hopefully, if we can make it all align, is to turn that part of that into a road and have the
Town square.
roundabout of the town hall again, so that would be
Well,
great.
I do recall that a few years back, Wanda had talked to us about her selling her home. And at that time, she was wanting $250,000 for her property.
Right.
So for us to be able to purchase that at $100,000, I think has really been to our advantage.
Right.
John, what is the next step if they contact me? Does this now go to?
We're filling this out and it's going to key government financing. We're all done.
Then does.
It has to go to
Bennett
Janet.
Contact them?
Yeah, it
And
goes
us
to
for signatures?
the Portage County has to sign off on it too. It's just a spot for Janet Esposito to sign off, and then Bennett Land Title would start getting involved with.
And then
the
both parties
paperwork.
sign at that point?
Yeah, but this is all of our financing, which is approved and done. So
I
now
know they
we're just
were
like
in-
buying a regular house. We have our
Right.
financing approved. Now we have to go through the.
I know they weren't in a real hurry and I wasn't in a real hurry. I just wanted to get it going.
Yep, it should be middle of next week, I would think, just because we have to send it over to Portage County and have a signature and sent back to us. But that's like the last thing that we need to do, and it'll be complete.
I'm not throwing Dave out there, but I am a little bit, at what point can we mow the property? Because I know they're starting to let it go a little bit. Because I
It's
think,
ours right now anyway.
Oh, yeah, we mowed that half already.
I just wondered if.
I think we have to wait till we
legally-
officially, you have to wait till we officially on it. It's like
Okay.
buying a house.
Just didn't want it to get.
Yeah, because if it falls through and you damage the property over there, then we have to deal with that, so. But this, I'm saying a couple weeks.
It wouldn't
and it should
take
be all done.
10 mower swipes, but.
Right.
Just-
I mean, I don't see more than a couple weeks, Greg, for this to all be
Okay.
finished, and
I just didn't want to get
So
too
you-
messy.
So you just need signatures?
Yep. I'll get that. I need to actually just to pass
Roll
this.
call.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes?
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes,
Motion passed. Thank you, and I'll get you this. I'll pass this around here in a minute for you to sign.
Anything else from fiscal today?
No,
As a small discussion point on that, I still want to look into moving that house.
Yeah, I've already reached out to a
I should-
realtor.
I need to know if
Yeah,
anybody's got an idea of a moving company
I
though.
know, I mean, the fact that it's the first church that was ever in Brimfield. is-
Well, I need a moving company to come out and say, yes, you can, or no, you can't. Then
Yeah,
that
Yeah, it's
starts
just a
at the
shame we
answer.
don't have.
well, and I think,
Council House had the money to do it.
right, but now that we're closer, to an official deal, I'll reach back out to the realtor.
Maybe they know a moving company.
And that's what I'm gonna ask, to
Just
say,
don't
hey,
know.
can you get me one or two, moving company names, in the area? And then we'll have them come in and look at it, and then we'll go from there.
Maybe someone would donate moving it and dropping it off at the Council House.
Well, maybe. I think what we need to figure out though is, we gotta find a company that can do it.
Right.
That's local to come give us the first bid. So now that I know the financing's in place, we're 2 to 3 weeks out from final closing. I think we can find I feel comfortable reaching out for a name.
I just need to know that first.
Okay.
If someone comes in and says, nope, can't move it, well, then we know what we gotta do.
I think how exciting it can be to actually restore it to looking like a church over at the Council House.
Right.
I mean, with the strong
Yeah.
faith.
I would
based
like that.
Community, you know.
I would like that.
Right. Okay, we're now gonna go into executive session.
Before we do executive session, I wanted to ask Dave one other thing. I didn't have a chance to talk to you, but when you guys were talking about the walking trail, is there any chance we can restore the walking trail that's already down at the Cranberry Creek? I mean, we put 6 inches of grindings under there.
Oh, you mean down at the
Yeah.
Lions Park?
Can't they hit it with
Oh, we could
weed killer?
have weed killer and stuff.
I mean, we got a beautiful walking track down
Right. Well, it's,
there. And then when,
they'd say it's been that way for 8 years.
well, yeah, after a certain road superintendent stopped taking care of it, not you.
Well, I mean, we can try spraying it and see what happens.
I'd love you to do it, because, I mean, that's something that's done, that has all the grinding bases. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if there's a piece of equipment that you could just run around and.
Well, you probably want to try tilling it off first, or you're just gonna mix weeds and grass and
Do you remember it?
I only seen bits and parts like that, like where it's up there where the new baseball field is. And then the part starts to go around, but after that, not much is all pretty grass and weedy.
Yeah, well, it was a beautiful track, because a lot of women used to use it. Yeah, let me know. I know you're busy, but, okay, that's all I got.
All right, so we're gonna get, we need to make a motion to go into executive session. Do you have that paperwork so I can read it?
You're the top spot there. We'll take a 5-minute recess.
Yeah, because I already do some tech stuff.
We were going in after that, because we're gonna know if we're doing that.
All right, this date, 8/26/20, trustee Nick Koya is moving to convene into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G for the purpose of considering the following matters. The investigation of charges or complaints against public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless this public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. I need a second for that.
Second.
All right, roll call.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
Sue.
Yes.
and we are requesting as part of this executive session that the fire chief, police chief, and road superintendent be present.
And we are adjourned to executive session at 9:26 a.m.
We'll take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cause I gotta shut the camera and mics off.
Well, we gave stupid paid vacation during COVID as well. Remember, they all took their time off, worked from home.
I know it's a difficult pill, but it
It
also
makes-
shows good faith due process on the front end, and it can always be changed at some point going forward.
Good idea.
We're waiting for Cassie to take it down. Just be a stop screen share. You're muted.
Give Cassie just a second, she's training. Get back up and running.
Yeah, it's just a stop screen share.
She said she will speak when it's ready.
There we go. Can you hear us okay, Cassie?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion at 11 a.m. to exit executive session.
A second.
Yeah, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
we're back from executive session.
So your liaison, so you want to make the motion?
Okay. John, you got a motion?
We're gonna move to put all 4 members of the road crew department on a 10-day administrative leave.
No, just no time frame.
No time.
Administrative leave with pay.
Right.
Pending investigation.
I'm going to make that motion.
I will second that motion for discussion. I think the only thing we need to say with this is that it's just pending investigation based upon our executive session. Notification will be made to the employees at the end of the meeting. Any other comments? Okay, roll call.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Okay, let me finish writing this. Motion passed. I have to say one more thing about Andrea.
Was there, I thought there was something else. Oh, yeah, meeting. Tell me when you're done with that, because then I need to do this meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to hold a special Brimfield Township meeting on the August 28th at 7 a.m.
Second.
Purpose of the meeting, and before a second, purpose of the meeting, discuss township business and investigation update.
Ship business and what?
Investigation update.
And any other township business.
Yeah, it's township business, right? Just some.
Okay.
Sue second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. I will get it in the newspaper.
Anything else for the good of Brimfield Township?
Joe, I'm gonna make a motion.
Well, he's got,
I do.
he's got something.
Andrea, from the Brian Ames situation, I spoke to her yesterday. She wanted to come in today to explain, and I said, you know what, we don't need you to come in and explain. We need you to get all the paperwork together, figure out what the closing costs are and who pays the closing costs. She thinks the insurance might pick up the closing cost in the Brian Ames case. Explain to her that we do not want to proceed any farther with Brian Ames or any suits against him in regards to the current executive session paperwork that we've already satisfied. They have been doing some of that on their own because they wanted to take him back to court for things. We've been fine with Brian for how long? Year with all that.
Yeah,
So
not longer, yeah.
yeah, so I've asked her to do that. She's supposed to get back to me with who pays the closing cost, and then it'll be, at that point, it's gonna be done. We do owe $500 to Brian Ames right now because we lost the last suit that she was in, so we're gonna do that. But as soon as I get all that paperwork, I'll let you know, but that's what I did pass along to her yesterday, so we don't want to proceed with. If she wants to proceed, she can proceed with Ritztown or some other entity. It's not gonna be Brimfield Township.
Okay.
So, okay, that's all I wanted to let you know.
Thanks for calling on that. That
Sure.
answered the question. All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mike, Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Let me see.
We are out at 11:04 a.m.